in front of me right now. You wrote the stories that actually made me like reading. So to hear people say that, and I'm in my 20s, late 20s now, how does that make you feel?
That's so cool. It makes me feel old, first of all, because I'm now running into people who grew up on my books and now they're into their careers. So that's cool. That means that the stories have had longevity. And it's also really cool and rewarding to me to see that my books did not ruin a generation of kids, that they grew up to have productive jobs.
I love that. And when I think about just reading and the journey through reading, we get to the point where maybe it's cool at one point in time, maybe we're forced to do it, then we find something that really takes hold to us. Was that what you really hoped happened, or you just trying to get a story out?
Yeah, what's funny is I actually wrote these books for adults. So when I started off with Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I was trying to write something that that was like a look back on childhood in a way. So it was a shock to me when my publisher said, "Hey, actually, you've written something that is a kids series," and it just sort of blew my mind because I'd been working on it for 8 years. I never thought for a second that I was writing something for kids, and so now when I write, I still have that imaginary adult in my head.
So you talked about you writing these stories originally for adults. Then you think about, okay, now it's going into theater. So it was something you didn't expect to be changed, and it just comes something bigger. So how do you even manage that? What are your emotions?
It was so strange to see my cartoon drawings translate into real people. That was wild. And I remember sitting in the theater and hearing like the 20th Century Fox like trumpets playing, and I felt nervous, like almost a sick feeling in my stomach, because when you put somebody in a room and they've paid the movie, the price for admission, they need to be entertained. And there's a different expectation when you sit down and you're like, okay, entertain me. And so I'm glad that those movies resonated with kids. And to this day, people in your generation, they look back on those movies fondly, and that's really cool to me.
So how many books in all have you written?
I've written 20 books in the Wimpy Kid series, and then I have a few spin-offs. I think it adds up to about 25 or 26 books.
Now we get a chance to see and hear all about all of these things when you come to our city soon, right?
That's right. I cannot wait to come because we're throwing a big party. We have this show called the Partypooper Show. So a few years ago, I started doing these shows. Instead of just an author talk or just a signing line, I wanted to do something really special and entertain the people who came to see me. So we have this really elaborate show. It's really funny. And it's I cannot wait to see how it's received.
Okay, because now you're making me think, okay, what's the sneak peek you can give us? You just going to say the Wimpy Kid is going to be there. That's it.
Well, the idea behind it, the Partypooper Show, is that we're there to celebrate this big milestone moment. It's book 20 in the series. We're about to cross over the 300 million books sold mark, so it's a big moment. But as we're trying to celebrate, all these different party poopers come in and interfere with our plans, including a clown called Hopeless. So it's really a fun night out for the whole family. Lots of interactions with the crowd. Families get to come on stage and be with me, play party games, and be a part of the celebration.
Okay, so this is the whole moment. You were not just doing a regular walk up here and sign the book.
No way. I've been doing it too long to just do that. So we've got to entertain the people who come out to see me.
Gotcha. Okay, so what about ticket information? Do you need to get it before? Can you get tickets at the door? How does that work?
Best way to do it is to go on to wimpykid.com, see where I'm appearing. Even if I'm not, if we're sold out that night in your location in Mississippi, maybe there's a place nearby that you can see us. So wimpykid.com is the best way to do it.
Last question I always have to ask an author is, how would you encourage someone who wants to write? Everybody says, I want to publish a book when they start seeing people do it. But what's your best piece of advice?
The best thing I can say is that I'm not a very talented writer or illustrator, and somehow I made it. So there's hope for anybody. But the best thing that you can do to become an author is become a good reader. So try to read in your genre. If you like things like The Hunger Games and things like that, read lots of books like that. If you like things like mine, Big Nate, read books like that, and then find your own style. But it all starts with reading.